Hello, my name is Annabelle Jankowiak, and just the other day, a friend of mine asked me, how do you use other functions in your Silhouette Studio software to cut out your applique templates? So let me start by reminding you to first watch part one of my videos because I'll go through some of these steps very quickly. It's all based off of what I showed you in the first part of my other videos. And so all that I'm showing you works on both the Cameo 3 and 4. So I am using the Designer Edition. I did add that bundle to my basic software, and I am updated to version 4.3. The reason for the Designer Edition Plus is because in many cases you could pull in PDFs or SVG files to cut your templates, and also in many of the blocks there is a lot of editing to be done in the more complex applique designs, and so you want the editing functions available in Designer Edition Plus. So just to refresh, I'm working on off-the-block applique, also known as prepared edge technique, and I'm using 2 sheets of quilter's freezer paper fused together, so it's already ironed together. The shiny side goes down on a tacky Cameo cutting mat, and then we'll send it off to the cutter to cut out our templates. Okay, so let's get started. First up, a very important function is mirroring an image. So here you see this middle block here where these swirls are going clockwise. And then over here, these teardrops are going clockwise. For these, I remembered to mirror the shapes. Otherwise, they would have been going counterclockwise like this one. This is not how this block was intended. It was supposed to be going around like this. Does it look wrong? No. Am I going to leave it alone? Yes, because it's all done. But there are some occasions when you're doing a design where you need it to be going in the correct direction. So you want to know how to mirror your shapes so you have it going correctly. And then replicate. So in this block here on the left, there are 5 leaves on each stem, 20 leaves. The freezer paper templates are pretty sturdy, so you can use each template 6, 7, or 8 times. So let's cut out just 4 leaves and use each leaf 5 times. We've got 5 circles. Let's cut 1 circle and use it 5 times. It can handle it. They're pretty strong. It's pretty strong paper. In this one, this is 12 leaves and 8 circles. Let's just do 3 of them and use them each 4 times. And do 4 circles and use them each twice. Using this template twice, it's nothing. It'll be fine for many uses. And then merging. This is one of my favorite. With merging, we can bring in a multiple blocks and put it all on 1 sheet of freezer paper. As I was saying with the other one, you only have to cut a couple of templates and use them over and over again. So for this block, we could cut 1 leaf, 1 tulip, 1 circle, and use it 4 times. 1 oval and use it 4 times. Here, 1 crown and use it 4 times. So I'll show you how to do that and fit it all on 1 sheet of freezer paper. So, and then along the way, I'll show you a couple other tips as I go along. So let's get started. Okay, so here we are back to Silhouette Studio. And so let me just to refresh your memory, my designs have already all been scanned in. So I have them in library, and let's start with how to mirror images. Double click on your design, find it in your library. Okay, so just to refresh you, I'm going to go through this quickly because we did it in the last video. Select trace area, click left mouse click and drag to cover the whole design. Let's improve the threshold a bit to about 60 and trace. Right mouse click on the pattern and delete. Click on the design, object, release compound path, and unclick it to release it off. Okay, so what we need is this outer circle and not the individual triangles. We want the whole, that whole shape. We need the inside circle. That'll be its own fabric. And this other big circle, that's its own fabric. And then we have the swirls. So with the swirls, there we go, we only need 6 of them. There are 12. Do we need to cut 12? No. Let's just do 6 of them in one color, and then when you're done with that, take the papers off and do it over again with a second color of fabric. Okay, so let's line these all up together here, and if you click it and grab the green knob, you can turn it. I want them all in the same direction for you to see what it is I'm doing here, so it doesn't look confusing. There we go. That one's a little bit cockeyed. Let's straighten that out. And there we go. Okay, let's bring this star over here. Utilizing the grid lines, let's get these inner points are all on grid lines, and you know then it's lined up evenly. And take the circle here and line that up evenly all the way around. Look, it's touching the grid lines on all 4 sides, so you know you're right on target. And let's not forget our 2 circles. They have to be cut also. Only 1 of each. This one's touching a little too close, I think. Okay, so left mouse click and drag to highlight these 6 pieces together. Go to Object, Mirror, and flip horizontally. And there you go. You are ready with this block to get it cut. So go to Send. We're using cardstock plain, which is the same firmness or thickness of 2 sheets of quilter's freezer paper ironed together. And we're going to cut. There you go, tell it to cut. And we are using AutoBlade. AutoBlade knows that if it's going to cut and use cardstock, it knows what factors to put in here for its cutting force, speed, and position. So I leave it at the default. The software knows what to do. And here we go. So just to remind you, this is an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. This is where you have to put the paper on the mat. Don't put the paper on this side or too far down. Position it as it is here in the design area. And you are good to go. So again, this is to mirror. I'll go over it again. You highlight them all together, mirror, and you would flip horizontally. And so you do understand what I'm doing here, correct? If we don't, then the images are going in the wrong direction because the shiny side is down towards the mat. Okay, that was just a little bit of a quick refresher. Okay, so to mirror is quick and easy. Okay, now let's work on replicating. Okay, so let's go again over the library. So library, and let's click number 21. Here it comes. Okay, great. Again, this is the one I showed you the picture of it. 5 leaves on 1 stem. Let's just do 1 leaf and use it 5 times. Let's just do 1 circle and use it 4 times. Now you see that there's some stems here, 4 stems. If we were to use these templates, you're going to get 4 short little pieces that would barely fit underneath the circle in the leaf. You would have to remember to add extra fabric. However, throughout this quilt, the stems are only 1/4 of an inch wide. 1/4 of an inch wide equals 6 millimeters, and it's this number 6 clover bias tape maker is the perfect tool to make these stems. I think this is one case where it's much easier to cut one strip of fabric, run it through your clover bias tape maker, and cut to whatever length you need to put in here. So this is one time where I went ahead and opted for the old-fashioned way of just using a tape maker. So since we're only going to cut one circle and one leaf, I am only going to cover that area. Just enough to get what I need. Improve the threshold and trace. Okay, great. Right click on the pattern, drop down menu to delete. Click on your object. Object, release compound path. Great. Uncheck it to get rid of that. And let's grab one, we don't need that, one leaf and one circle. There we go. Let's left mouse click and drag and delete on the keyboard. Because we only highlighted one small area, it looks like we're only working with a small area. We were given a small area working surface. So let's go back to page setup and tell it we're using an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. Okay, so click on your leaf to highlight that object, and then go to Object, Replicate, and give me a row of 4. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's use each one 5 times, and you're good to go. Okay? But I know some of you are going to want all 20 leaves. So you've got these 4. Click and highlight, Object, Replicate, and give me a column of 4. So there you go. You've got 16 leaves, but you want the 20. Leave this alone, highlight it as it is, then Object, Replicate, Duplicate below. There you go. You've got your 20 leaves. Here we have one circle. We only need one and use it 5 times. But if you want your 5 circles, click it, Object, Replicate, and give me a column of 4. The last one is highlighted, Object. Oh, here, you can even here drop down, right click, drop down menu, and duplicate. It'll put one on top of the other. You just put it down here. There you go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There you go. And you are all set to go. So once again, you would just go to Send. Make sure everything's within the paper page, your setup, cardstock, cut, autoblade, and send. Okay, great. Mine says unavailable because it's turned off right now. So, but yours would be turned on, powered up, and you would already have your mat, before hitting send, have your mat already under the rollers, because the minute you hit send, it's going to grab it and cut it right away. Okay, so great, that's replicate. But there's a lot more to replicating than this. So here's a pattern I've already got ready here, ready to go, and that I already had pulled in from the library. And I need these 3 leaves. So trace, select trace area first. Okay, click and drag to get these 3 leaves in there. Improve the threshold and trace. Right click on the pattern and delete. Click on the design to make it an object and release compound path. Okay, so I need a medium leaf, a small leaf, and a large leaf. Okay, and then I'm going to highlight the rest of this and delete. Oh, missed one. Okay, and that one. Okay, let's work on the medium leaf. I'm going to I want to save all three of them, but I don't want one to be on top of the other. So right click on this leaf, copy it. Let's go to a blank page, right click, drop down menu to paste. Okay, and let's stand that up nice and neatly. I feel like it takes up less space this way. Okay, so now's our time to talk about a great product. The ultimate applique template paper is 12 inches square, and it is produced by P3 Designs. So how awesome is that? You've got a 12-inch cutting mat. Let's make use of it. So let's go to page setup and use a 12 by 12 inch sheet of freezer paper. Okay, with this leaf highlighted, go to Object, Replicate, and fill the page. Now with this pattern, this quilt that I'm working on, there are 20 blocks and each block has 40 leaves. So here we go, 10 across, 4 down, 40 leaves. Is that great for one block? No, I'll use these leaves 5 times each, and that's great for 5 blocks. I'll cut this out 4 times using 2 sheets of freezer paper every time. Cut it up 4 times, use each leaf 5 times, and I'm good to go. Isn't that great? Look how fast we're cutting this out. This will only take about less than 2 minutes to cut. So in 2 minutes, I could not cut 40 leaves consistently the same shape and size. So that's why I love using this cutter. And now that we can use a 12-inch sheet of freezer paper, it's awesome. Okay, so I would do this again and again to the other 2 leaves. Okay, so that was one. We started off with 1 leaf, Object, Replicate. We're not getting that options right now because it's not highlighted, but Object, Replicate, and fill the page. Okay, so watch this over and over again if I'm going too fast for you. Okay, let me show you one more thing with replicating and stems. So go back to the library and let me get this one. Okay, so just like before, we're working with 12 of the same size and shape leaf and 8 circles, all the same size. So let's just use 1 leaf to work with and 1 circle. But we also need the stem in this case. So we'll see how that works. Select Trace Area, left mouse click and drag to cover the whole thing this time. And improve the threshold and trace. Okay. Right mouse click and drop down to delete the pattern. Highlight the object, release compound path. Okay, let's unhighlight it and save 1 circle and 1 leaf. But we also want this stem. So the outer circle and the inner circle. And we don't need the rest of this. We don't need to be working with all of this. We could save a lot of time. Okay, because we started off with a small shape, a 6.5 inch square, 7-inch square, it reduced our working area. So let's get back to 8.5 by 11. Okay, so we've got 1 leaf. We have 12 leaves that we need. Object, replicate, and do a row of 4. You could take these 4 and use them each 3 times. It's just perfect for quilter's freezer paper. But I know some of you want your 12, so left mouse click and drag to highlight all 4 together. Object, replicate, and do a column of 4 or 3. There you go. There you go. 3 times 4 is 12 leaves. And the same thing with the circle. There are 8 circles. Object, replicate, do a column of 4. Now, we could do these 4 times. I mean, that's not, no, I'm sorry, you've got 4 circles. Use the template twice, each one twice, and you've got your 8 circles. I mean, to use it twice, that's nothing for our quilter's double layered fusible freezer paper. But for those of you that want all 8, click and drag them to highlight, object, replicate, and this time duplicate below. And there you go, you got your 8 circles. Now let's talk about that stem. I know I talked about the clover bias tape maker making your stems for you, correct? Well, okay, that's fine for a nice, neat, straight stem, but who wants to do, you don't want to do that. You'd have to cut this, you have to cut the fabric on bias and then position it in the perfect circle and have a seam in here somewhere. So this is a case when you do want to cut your stem, your round circle, and you would fold the fabric underneath from both sides, right? It really worked out very well. There was no seam, no bulk, no nothing. It was very quick and easy to do. The stem is 1/4 of an inch apart. These grid lines are 1/4 of an inch, and they're all lined up here, so you can see that I've got this well done here. There you go. And then that's ready to cut. Okay, look how fast and easy that was. See, that's why I really enjoy doing this. It's very quick. It moves along very quickly. Okay, so we've done the leaves. And where are my leaves? Let's see. I just remembered about the leaves. Something I want to tell you about this. Okay, I told you about the 12-inch freezer paper from P3 Designs. But there's one very good tip that Pearl Pereira gave us regarding these leaves. When you have this paper, before it gets cut, scribble the heck out of this. Just scribble up and down all over the place on the paper. That way, when these leaves come off the mat, you will know, and you go to use them, you'll know quickly which is the shiny side and which one isn't, instead of having to look carefully under the lamp and on each one, like checking each one. Do I have the right side? So, although these leaves are a nice size, and it won't be so hard to tell the difference, but when it comes to small circles, small leaves, small pieces of anything, you want those markings on the paper to help you out. So now I just automatically scribble all my papers, and everything's good to go. So just another one of those efficient tips to learn. Also, with this, a friend of mine recently was cutting out hexagons because she couldn't find them at any shops or online for the exact size that she needed for a project she was working on. When I saw her cutting the hexagons, I said, "Whoa, don't do that. Give me your pattern." I scanned the pattern and I cut out 1,500 hexagons for her over a 2-week time period. She did, however, provide a cardstock that was 110-pound weight. As you know, paper has a certain weight, and that's their mode of measurement. And so that's how you know how thick or heavy a paper is. So it was a very nice, crisp card weight for English paper piecing. And like I said, I cut 1,500 pieces out for her very easily. And she was really happy to have them. So that's another tip for English paper piecing. And let's see. Oh, okay, now we're ready to merge. Okay, so let's go again with to the library where I've already scanned my design. And you might remember this from my first video, this block. Okay, and I want to make good use of the Ultimate Applique template paper that's 12 inches square. Okay, so with merging, we're going to try and fit more than one block on one sheet of paper and save ourselves lots of time and space on the paper. So trace, open the trace panel, select trace area, left mouse click and drag to cover the whole design, improve the threshold, and trace. Right mouse click on the pattern, drop down menu to delete. Highlight the object, release compound path. Great. Okay, so let's bring the design out here in the corner, and we're only going to cut one oval. You can use that 4 times. It won't be a problem. We need the center circle and the star, and we need a circle for inside of here. We're going to left mouse click and drag this and delete. Oh, there you go. Oh, all of this didn't go. Okay, there we go. So let's line this up on grid lines so that we have it. There you go. See how it's on 4 points are on intersections? And then now we can put this right centered also to the grid lines. That looks pretty darn good. Okay, center to the star. Looks like it can go over that way just a touch. There we go. Okay, and you've got your oval here. And then this one also should get lined up. Oops, let's come over here more. To the grid lines. There you go. And then the circle will fit right inside of here. There you go. Lined up beautifully. Okay, we've got plenty of space on this 12-inch sheet of paper. But this time you can't go to the library to get your block. You have to go to File, Merge, and Merge shoots you out to your computer files. And let's see, we'll take in this block. Okay, it's coming. There you go. Okay. Again, it's 4 of the same shape, so we're just going to cut 1 of each. Select trace area. We're overlapping the other one. It's not at all a problem. What you're looking at is just digital overlay. So we only want, oops, wait, X that out. Try that again. We need that center circle. There we go. And improve the threshold and trace. Right click, drop down menu, and delete the pattern. Click on the design, object, and release compound path. Okay, click out here in the open space to unlock that, and let's start taking it apart. Well, we don't need that. We need the individual tulip and the leaf and the center circle and the little circle. And there you go. We are good to go. And delete all that. Okay, so I should have started with the pattern further away from the other designs, because now they're overlapping. They're harder to get to. There we go. Oops, darn it. There we go. Let's get that back in order here. There we go. Okay, we've got plenty of room here for another block. So let's go back to File, Merge, and let's get this one. Okay. Let's move this one up a little bit higher. Select trace area. And now this is one where we only need 1 of these because we don't need 4 of them. Whoops, that's not right. I need that circle. Oh no, I don't need that circle. Okay, hold on a second. Here we go. Okay. Improve the threshold and trace. Right mouse click, drop down menu to delete the pattern. Click on your design, object, release compound path. Okay, and then unclick it, unhighlight it. So we just need one of, no, we don't need the whole bundle. We need one of these. And we don't need this big circle here because when the 4 segments are put together, that forms the circle. What we need is the flower and its center. And the rest of this, we don't need. So delete that. Oh, come on. It's a little bit stubborn. Okay. So let's turn this a bit and click and drag it over here to fit in this space. There you go. That's fine. And let's line this up to grid lines. Down more. I'm going by these inner points here, and that lined up on the grid. And then put this one in the center of it. Okay, great. Okay, so now I've got all this space left over here. So this is something where you could take this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 inch piece of paper and save that for some other time. And you might have something where you just need to cut something small, and you would just, go to your page setup and put in a 5 by 5 area, and it would, and then remember to put it where you put it on the mat in this design area, so you could put it in the same spot on your cutting mat and cut out your piece. So save all your nice big pieces of paper like this. But for now, I'm working on a Dresden plate, and I need circles, center circles. So over here in the drawing tools, I'm going to grab a circle, or it's really more like an oval. Oh, I'm not a very good drawer, so that came out as an oval. But and then undo edit. I have trouble getting rid of it once I've done that. Select tool. There you go. This is highlighted. I'm going to hit the delete button. This is all by accident because it's very sensitive. But I'm back on select tool, so these things won't happen. Click the object, and you can, once you have a circle highlighted, these functions open up for you. So I need it 2.25. Oops. I need a 2 1/4 inch circle for the center of my Dresden plates. And then, while this is highlighted, right mouse click, drop down, and duplicate. So that now I have 2 of them. But why not? Here, let's move it over a little bit. I can actually highlight the 2 of them, object, replicate, duplicate below. Now I've got 4. I've got 20 blocks. I can use these each 5 times. But hey, as long as I've got the space here, click on this one, right click, drop down menu, and duplicate. And now I'll have 5. I can use these each 4 times. And I have made efficient use of this sheet of paper. Okay? So that was another one of my fun tips I wanted to share with you. So don't forget to scribble on your paper and make full use of it. And yes, do 1 when you need to have 4, just cut 1 piece out. Okay, and just like anything else, you just hit send. And remember what you've done, because that's a lot of blocks, so you've got to make sure you mark after these get off, after you take them off the mat. Remember to mark everything so you know what belongs to which block. And again, and auto blade. And this is all lined up and ready to go, and send. Have this in the rollers ready to go, because once you hit send, it's going to take off and go. Okay, and I think that's all I had to show you today. I'd like to thank Mary Garman and Jenny Arkinson at comequilt.com for granting me the permission to use the Afternoon Delight blocks that you saw me using today. That pattern is by Sue Garman, and you can find that pattern on their website. There are 40 wonderful applique blocks, All of them just a delight to work with. And that 12-inch square freezer paper, ultimate applique template paper at p3designs.com. You saw how well we use that and how very efficient it can be. So check out P3 Designs website for more information. And also check out all the tutorials that are available on that website for more help with applique preparation. Next on So Annabelle, how do you number your individual pieces? So you saw that last design that we were doing with all the merging. It would have been a good idea to label all those pieces so you don't get confused, because there are some days where I cut a whole bunch of templates and I don't get around to using them for at least a month or so. So that'll be next, coming up within a couple of weeks. I hope you're enjoying preparing your applique template pieces, and have fun with your quilting.